start with a video that went viral over the weekend. It's not a new video. It's actually a few weeks old, but it got put on some new sites. It was shared on Twitter. It was shared on Reddit. So it kind of got revitalized. And I actually went to go to the video itself on TikTok yesterday, and it seemed to not be accessible. But of course, everyone pulled it, screenshot it, embedded it. So I don't know if the nurse doesn't want it there anymore, but too bad, it's already out there. Anyway, it was a controversial video, and it's essentially of a nurse who has been facing backlash. She apparently, according to her, had a patient that died. And she filmed in the hospital a little reaction to that. I want to show it to you. And then we're going to talk about why this video, in my opinion, is a big problem and a sign of the times. That's not good. Let's take a look.
I put my armor on, show you how strong I am. I put my armor on, I'll show you that I am. I'm unstoppable.
Okay, now if you follow the video, you can see there's text on it. And essentially, the text says that she lost a patient and she's going through the motions of that experience. So I have to ask, first and foremost, what's wrong with the video? A lot of things. I'm going to assume that she's telling us the truth, that she did in fact lose a patient, because it would be so beyond horrific to fake that just for a video. So let's just give her the benefit of the doubt. I like to do that. And let's say she did lose a patient. If that happened to her, why the video? You lose a patient in the hospital, you're a nurse. Does this seem like a realistic display? Oh, excuse me, I just lost a patient. Would you mind just filming this for me? I want to post the video on TikTok of my reaction. That's why she's getting heat, because we live in an age now where people are starting to realize that we are in decay. I don't use that word lightly because of what's happening with our relationship to social media. If she legitimately went through the motions of sadness, of grief, which I'm sure nurses, doctors out there, you do lose patients sometimes. You do go through traumatic events. I'm sure it can be really, really difficult to bear, that trauma. But I'm guessing you also don't rush to make a TikTok video about it. So it looked like acting. In fact, my friend Clifton Duncan wrote something to the effect of, he hosts a podcast as well. I've been on his podcast. Really cool guy, an actor. He wrote, "Leave the acting to the actors." And it's sad, because if she did really have a moment, she lost people by doing that to it. So this got me thinking, why do we need to showcase everything on social media? Why do we need to be this type of people now, where we need to look and seek approval? We need your commentary. We need you to see how we're feeling. We need you to be in that moment with us. Why do we seek that out? And what is wrong with a society that does that all the time? And it got me thinking about, I told you guys that I had written a book called #DoNotDisturb a few years ago. And I remember, I had an addiction to technology. I shared that with you as well. I remember a day I was on the Brooklyn Promenade, gorgeous sunset, like one of those sunsets you see that like, you're like, that can't be real. And I sat with my phone and I was trying to get a picture of it. So I was looking at it through the phone and adding a filter in and hashtag no filter and coming up with all this stuff. And what I ultimately came to experience that day is I didn't see the sunset. I missed the whole moment. The only sunset I actually saw was through the lens of my camera, because I was so busy trying to tell you that I was having a moment that I didn't have one. I didn't have one. I missed the whole thing. By the time I was done with the camera, the sunset was done. So I'm guilty of it. I am that person. I recovered from all that stuff, and I manage social media very, very differently now. But I recovered from that because I had to, because the world that I was living in was bad. And the world that this woman is living in is bad too. This is not good. So I invite you to look at what's happening to people in 2022. To look at what's happening to you. I'm sure you have been someone who's gone down that path every now and then, right? You're like, oh, let me take a contemplative picture of myself sitting on a patio enjoying vacation, and someone's behind that and you're like, and they run over, and then you're like, could you take another one? That one doesn't, I feel like I look weird. Then they run back. Oh, but you know what? That one, my foot looks funny. It's all fake, right? It's all fake. We know it's fake. It's all fake. And what's happening as a result of this need to be liked and need to be, everything has to be public and everything, we're missing out on the actual moments. We're missing out on life, and we're missing out on peace, because any little amount of peace you could have had in that moment is gone by you trying to capture it and display it to the world all the time, because you want some kind of acceptance or a like, or you want other people to feel what you're feeling. it's bad. So I looked at this and it rubbed me the wrong way. And it reminded me of a need to just say, put the apps down. If you're having an experience, have it. If you're going through something, go through it. You don't need to tell everyone about it 24 hours a day. You don't need them to feel what you're feeling 24 hours a day. And you don't need to make it into a social media meme that goes viral. This one didn't work out so well for her because whatever authenticity existed for her in that moment was lost by her need to showcase it to all of us. It just looked fake. So learn from it. And it's easy to criticize. It's easy for us to sit here and criticize. Every single one of us, the reason I'm pointing this out, every single one of us has done this. Maybe not in a hospital, maybe not after losing a patient, maybe we're not a nurse. We all do it. You know who doesn't do it? The older generations who look at us like we're crazy and are like, can't you just look at the sunset? Can't you just enjoy this moment? If you like the short clip, you can catch another one here, or you can catch the full episode right here.